September 6th for the Pedinelli Financial Partners Golf Tournament benefiting the Autism Society, San Francisco Bay Area. Go to 957thegame.com to learn more. Presented by ACTGO Pest Control, the Bay Area's locally family-owned pest control company. So the boss man just came in here and you just said something, and I'm going to ask the fans this because I don't buy it, but, you know, I'm just one person. 888-957-9570 is the number. Is this relationship salvageable? Say Brandon Aiyuk signs a new deal later on today. Will there still be any issues? Is this salvageable? If Brandon Aiyuk did re-sign with the 49ers later on today, and he hits the practice field tomorrow, are we just going to be able to move on? Or you think this is a situation that's lingering into the season?
I mean, this feels very different than some of the other ones. I don't know. I don't know. With his teammates, yeah, I think it's fine. But with like the coaches and specifically Shanahan, because we're talking about Shanahan here, right? Like, we didn't know what was going on with the relationship between Shanahan and Jimmy G, but clearly what we've learned now is at the end of that 2022 season, Shanahan was done with Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, there was no other way around. He was just done with him. Now, I thought he was done with him a year prior. So who freaking knows on that one? But it did feel like he was, all right, now I'm like really, really done. It felt like he was done with Trey Lance too, even though they brought him back for training camp. It did feel awkward and weird. Like the Debo holdout, it felt different. There was a point in time where it felt like they were going to trade him. Then that time passed. And then when we were at quote unquote camp and stuff, walking around, he was there. He was dapping everybody up. He stayed on the practice field during practice, right? And there was all this like murmurs that they were working on the deal. And you didn't hear other potential suitors, and you didn't hear that Debo was being able to negotiate a deal with outside teams. The Bosa thing, he was out of sight, out of mind. It was very unique to the Debo thing. This one feels different in the sense that, like, they've basically told Brandon Aiyuk, go ahead, find people that you want to work a deal with. I don't know. I don't know if the genie can go back in the bottle. That goes back to Shanahan, where I'm like, is he done with him or not? Because I think ultimately the players will accept him back, like the way they did with Bosa and the way they did with Debo and stuff, and Jimmy. But will the coach accept him back? Like, that's the number one thing. Even Aiyuk, to your, the Pivot, what is it, the Pivot podcast, he even talked about being kind of the coach and him not having on the same page early on. I don't know if those feelings linger or if they resurface.
Became an all-pro wide receiver. He fought his way out the doghouse. He fought his way out the doghouse to have back-to-back 1,000-yard receivers.
No, I know, but does that animosity resurface is what I'm saying.
Maybe, but then when when they start playing football, he starts scoring touchdowns, it's all good, right? I mean, so you brought up Debo Samuel, hold in. He talked about being traded. He comes, he gets hurt. Debo was talked about getting traded. They were discussing trading him this past offseason. Debo's been out there on the field balling out. Yeah, but balling out. He knows in the back of his head that, boy, they tried to trade me.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm cool. I'm cool with that. As far as Jimmy, at the end of 2022, he got hurt, right? We thought he was done. We thought Shanahan was done with Jimmy after 2021, after the Rams game, right? Comes on the baby field. He throws, practices. They restructure his deal.
With the shoulder.
They restructure his deal. He takes over for Trey Lance, and he probably plays the best football since 2019 that season. And then he gets hurt against Miami. But they got over it. Jimmy was able to get over it. Shanahan was able to get over it. And they started winning football games. So to me, it'll be a distraction as long as I think Shanahan's been in this business for so long. I don't want to underrate that. He's seen it all as a coordinator, quality control coach. He's talked to his father. He's coached now. He's seen these hold-ins. Once Aiyuk signed and gets on the field and they start practicing and they start playing games, we won't even be talking about this in September unless they lose. But if they go and start 7-1 or if they're 7-2, we'll be talking about the Super Bowl and getting the number 1 seed.
No, I agree, but I'm saying I don't know if Kyle's just done. Like, for example, with Trey Lance, like
Kyle's always done. Kyle, he's a head coach. They're always cranky.
In part, there were many reasons, but you don't think in part moving Trey Lance in the preseason was like just get out, just like let's get this, let's just remove this situation.
Well, Trey Lance was so distraught. Shanahan looked out for him and said, "Okay, here's the deal. You could be the third stringer." And then he saw how Trey Lance was acting. He goes, Trey, just take the day off. Take the day off and let me know if you want to be here. Trey chose not to be here.
Yeah,
Trey ended up asking for a trade, and Shanahan was like, cool. we'll acquiesce to your request, and you will send you to Dallas. He looked out for Trey in the situation, and I thought that's when Shanahan really won me over. That presser after the final preseason game, when he sat there and said, man, here's a deal. And he was open-minded, and everybody was mad at Shanahan. I thought, wow, I got a lot of respect for Shanahan. He did what he had to do, and he looked out for the player. He looked out for the player.
I also think he was protecting his own team and removing the situation. It just takes some of the oxygen out of the room. And so I think it was just, that's my personal belief, is I think that it was a smart move because it was about the team. Like, all right, let's just remove this situation. Yeah, it might be good for him as well simultaneously, but I think it was also self-serving.
Well, no, he asked him. He wanted to keep Trey. He was going to keep him as Trey. He's like, yo, what's the deal? What's the deal? And he traded him. Anyway, let's go to Zach in Redwood City. Zach in Redwood City. I think we're looking way too deeply into this. These are professionals, man. They know the deal. They know the drill. Once the ball gets kicked off, all this stuff is just white noise, man. Zach in Redwood City, what's happening?
It's not, though. We just spent a whole Warrior season talking about emotions. And then...
No, that's because that's all you guys want to talk about. I want to talk about the
players
game.
did too.
I would love to talk about split action. I want to talk about triangle offense. I want to talk about read and react. That's what the fans want to do. That's what Sports Talk Radio is all about. You guys want to talk about drama all the time.
No.
That's all it is.
One of the greatest Warriors of all time spent an entire 18 months talking about his feelings, and that's Klay Thompson. Like, no, like that, and so did the coach, and so did the organization, and so did other players. Like, that's real. Come on.
Man.
Like, we can acknowledge it. Like, it's okay. These guys are human.
Oh, my gosh.
They're not robots.
Oh, my gosh. Zach in Redwood City.
What's up, Bonte? What's up, Shasky? How's it going?
What's up?
How we doing?
Good.
Good, cool. Yeah, so, I mean, you guys are talking Brandon Aiyuk. I needed to chime in. I'm reading Tim Kawakami's headline this morning, how it would be an utter disaster both ways. And I don't know if I would put it that extreme, but I would love to see us run it back with the same squad. I mean, Slick Rick, I mean, you get that fifth receiver, and I think it could be a total game changer here. And, I went to Indiana. I got some connections out in Cleveland. Shane Wynn played for the Browns. He played for the Hoosiers. Weight ride receiver, ran a 4.2. And he told me, he's like, it's not happening. It's probably not happening. I mean, the Patriots, they declined the trade, right? And I mean,
well, they declined the trade because. Oh, Zach, you got flushed, my man. You got flushed, my man. Sorry, your call's not good enough. You need to contact Floyd Water Plumbing and Drain at floydwater.net. I mean, I said no to the Patriots. Now, you bring up Klay Thompson in the 18 months or whatnot. We talked about it, but what I remember was Klay Thompson go to the bench. Klay Thompson start shot chucking. Klay Thompson, your body language sucks. Blah, 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 blah. Now, after the season, everything came out that, he was in a dark place. Blah, blah, blah. His feelings, blah, blah, blah. He's trying to find out all, blah, 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 blah. But once they got on the court, the players played. They just weren't good. The team as a whole wasn't good enough to compete for a championship.
Yeah, I think his psychology and the psychological stuff was impacting both. That's my personal belief.
But he shot 43% from the three-point line post All-Star break. Actually played really well post All-Star break. So all that psychological stuff that we're talking about, Klay Thompson post All-Star break played pretty damn good and averaged 20 points a game.
So he overcame the stuff that he had prior. All right.
I mean, come on. TC Sacramento. TC Sacramento. No, I know. TC Sacramento.
The coach sat him down.
Shanahan. But we're talking about football.
Tom Brady and Belichick won 6 Super Bowls together, and they had many moments where they were at each other's throats.
Yeah, that's what happens in pro sports.
Thing to this.
That happens in pro sports until you get over it. Friction happens.
It does happen.
Friction happens, but it's not going to linger in terms of wins and losses. Bosa stuff. You don't think that annoyed the 49ers
sometimes
brass?
It lingers,
you don't think that annoyed the 49ers brass? It didn't annoy Steve Wilkes, who didn't get to know Nick Bosa until 2 days before the Pittsburgh Steelers game?
There's an article on ESPN right now about Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni and their relationship and how it deteriorated everything. I think some cases it means nothing. In some cases it does mean something.
TC, Sacramento.
Bonte, Shasky, good morning. What's up with my two bros? Man, just tapping in. First and foremost, not going to training camp, bro. This is clown behavior and clown show. I try to tell, I know you don't want to talk about the negativity, Bonte, but Joe's being honest. Like, bro, I tried to tell you about this before, bro. This dude is running a clown show around there, man.
Wait, Kyle Shanahan, how is he running the clown show, TC? How is this on Kyle Shanahan? How is Brandon Aiyuk holding in and not getting his money on Kyle Shanahan? TC, explain that one.
I'm explaining it to you right now because, bro, he should have been paid because I done done everything you wanted, dog. Out of everybody, you want to play with me?
Shanahan's not signing the contracts? He's not signing the contracts?
Hold on, Bonte. But okay, so listen, we can't keep playing both sides of the field. We can't say Shanahan's running the team, making decisions, and then when it comes to contracts, we're like, he's out of it. He's not doing anything. But when it's time to call somebody and make a move like Debo or Trent or whatever, Kyle's the guy to make the move. Bro, he's running things, dude. Pay that dude his money, dog. Period, point blank, and we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here.
Not today. That's a flush. Get the flush button. TC, you got to get flush. You're going down the toilet. Sorry, your call's not good. You need to contact Floyd Water Plumbing and train at FloydWater.net. No, that's ridiculous. What the hell does Shanahan have to do with Brandon Aiyuk's money? You don't think Shanahan wants Brandon Aiyuk in camp? Parag Marante and Jed York, and they're saying, boy, we can't, I don't know if we can pay this. We don't know if we can do it. Now, Shanahan probably has his input on that.
That's what I agree. Yeah, I agree.
How the hell can you possibly say, as we're entering year number 8 of the Kyle Shanahan era, that he's running a clown show? We just lost the damn Super Bowl. The year before, you lost an NFC Championship game. The year before, you lost an NFC Championship game. The year before, you had to hold the team together in Glendale, Arizona for the last 5 weeks. The year before that, you lost the Super Bowl. What are we talking about?
It's not.
This is all making us crazy, folks.
No.
Dial it down. It's not going to be the last holdout we ever have in San Francisco, folks.
No.
Jesus Christ.
Nor in any sport. But here's what I would say is that it is interesting that Kyle himself has admitted that he had to call Parag during the Trent Williams negotiation. Now, that part I find interesting. So,
and I was going to bring that up.
Okay.
Because Trent Williams I did a hit with Kansas City that day, and they thought I did the hit with Carrington, our boy Carrington. He goes, boy, we're about to get Trent Williams. How you feeling? I said, I don't feel good. And Trent goes, oh, you want to play with me? Well, I'm going to the Midwest. I'm going to Kansas City.
He called Shanahan, and then Shanahan said he had to call Parag.
Yeah,
essentially.
Basically, it was like, you got to get this done.
Yeah.
You have to get this done.
So that's where I guess my question to you is do you think Kyle has done that in this situation?
I mean,
because it sounds like they did that with the Bosa situation. It sounds to me last year, based off the tea leaves that I'm hearing and seeing and reading and everything, is that the Bosa thing was getting down toward week 1, and it's the middle of that week, and they were like, John and Kyle basically were like, yo, Parag, like, I get it. You want to save X amount of dollars? Get this done. It feels very, very similar. So do you think they would do the same thing right now?
I don't know. Well, here's how Shanahan feels about the rest of the wide receiver room.
I love the guys that we have in the building. I love the vets that we've had here that have played at a high level. I love the new ones we brought in for competition, and I love the young guys. They have been banged up, trying to get healthy, battling a shoulder, battling a hamstring. But when they're out there, they're getting better, and I hope that they can get healthy, continue to stay healthy so they can get the time in that they need to be ready. I know they will be if they get that time in, but that's the risky and hard thing about football. Football is a tough thing to practice, tough thing to get prepared for, and you got to do that at a very high level, and you hope they have no setbacks as they go along, and if they don't, I feel very good about the guys because they got what it takes.
Well, here's Shanahan on his emotions about the entire situation.
Calculated and prepared. I mean, you want everybody out there. And frustrated guys are hurt and can't get out there. All you want to do is practice and get ready for the tough season that's ahead, but you also truly understand the business side of our league and what these guys do and put themselves through and what they have to go through in these deals. So whether it's a hold in or whether it's a hold out, I mean, this stuff is pretty common, and you just got to be patient with it as a coach.
It's all right.
I want the holdover. That's what I want. Was that Jimmy on the baby field? It was a holdover. It wasn't a hold in, a hold out. He was just over there. Hold over there. You
Jimmy,
over there.
Jimmy.
Give it to me one more time.
Jimmy.
Hey, if Jimmy gets cut from the Rams, do they bring him in to replace Aiyuk?
Why?
It's a joke.
I'm afraid that it's going to have to be Jimmy Garoppolo that gets it done.
The problem is not only Aiyuk. That's the thing. That's the part that's bugging me.